Frank Marzullo here. When I come back to visit the Valley, it's usually to celebrate something big, and Ryers is celebrating their 133rd anniversary. The forecast calls for a savings of 20 to 75% off the entire stock, plus you have the chance to win unbelievable prizes just for walking through the door. Bring a food donation and get another chance. Take a selfie on our red carpet, hashtag it Ryers133, and you'll get one more chance to win. It's the Ryers anniversary sale in beautiful downtown Sharon.
Join us Saturday, September 8th at Sloas Airfield for the Ross Griffin Memorial Bash. Over $150,000 in cash and prizes. Proceeds benefit local high school senior scholarships and youth help centers. Visit rossgriffinmemorialbash.com for more information.
Hey, you guys get your seat sponsorship yet for the Robins?
Absolutely.
Yeah. These guys got theirs. Go to robinstheater.com and get yours.
Be a part of the Downtown Warren revitalization. Sponsor your seat today at robinstheater.com.
The Hope Center for Arts and Technology, located in Sharon, offers free job training as part of their medical assistant diploma program. No cost to qualified students. The application deadline is July 31st. Log on to hopecat.org and click Apply Now.
I was like, hi, I'm Daisy, my mom has cancer. Cry. And everybody hugged me.
That's how it starts sometimes. And in this office space, inside the Brandywine Plaza in Cornersburg, there is a place to go. And for Daisy Francis Shelley, it's exactly what she and her family needed.
Terrifying. To find out like one of your parents has cancer is one of the hardest things you ever want to hear.
Thankfully, we have Yellow Brick Place, founded by two survivors, Donna Detweiler and Anna A., an organization that helps cancer victims navigate through untested waters.
So they come in here and they find hope and they find help and they find understanding on a level that we have been there. We know what you're going through.
And just like Carol, most of the volunteers here are cancer survivors themselves. They counsel, they take you in the direction you need to go. No issue is too big or too small.
We will do everything we can to meet that need. Whether it's something big like finances, we have a couple financial counselors, or whether it's something that people might think small, like I need help cleaning my house or I need a ride.
They have a space a couple of doors down for a number of programs like gentle yoga or even movie and popcorn nights. This room is the wig room, where a woman can pick out a wig at, just like all the services here, no charge.
She found a wig that looked like her. She started to cry. She says, this is the first I felt like a woman since I have had my surgery. So they are often moved to tears, and we're often moved to tears. And we find hope for them and compassion.
That was the case for Daisy's mom, Milady, who was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Her body started to change, and eventually she had to shave her head. She did not want to appear on camera, but she did send this text message.
And her response was, Daisy, I am not a good speaker. I know you would do better. I appreciated the wig, the makeup class that I attended, especially now that I lost my eyebrows. They showed me how to apply the eyebrow pencil properly. It is a great organization, and it helped me when I needed it the most.
And it's not just the women that are being catered to. The men also have somewhere to turn. Steve Burbrick was in that boat at one time. Now he's a volunteer and he's a friend.
Well, there's no place for a guy to lean on. My wife didn't have cancer, so where was a guy going to go? You know, we got this big pride thing going on with guys, and you know, we want to work, take care of our family, so we didn't have a really good place to go. You don't have to talk about your cancer if you don't feel like it. If you just want to lean on somebody, just to kind of talk about anything in general, that's a big help, I think.
Drop in and see us, call and make an appointment, give us a call. We're just here to help, and we understand.
And when you do, you'll find out what they do, and maybe, like Daisy, you'll even do it for others.
I now know that they have a volunteer, that's me, to help them with anything that they need. The support that they gave our family, my mother, it's priceless.
In 1982, national castings, Chicago Bridge and Iron went down. Shortly after that, Westinghouse had laid off, and then they did another layoff, and then they shut down the plant. They didn't close it, but they stopped operations.
You probably know the story. The Mahoning and Shenango valleys felt like they lost everything. But here in western Pennsylvania, they did something to try to help. They needed a food bank to buy food on the cheap and distribute it to agencies across the area.
These people that were laid off were on unemployment, and then all of a sudden their unemployment ran out. So now you had all these thousands of people that needed food.
The Community Food Warehouse of Mercer County was born, working in the basement of the Sharon Herald at the time, and in 1985, the staff of 2 needed help. They needed Lori Weston.
I was the first secretary. I was actually the 3rd employee.
She wore many hats, and eventually Lori was promoted to executive director, a job she didn't want.
I was nervous about it. I didn't feel that I had the qualifications to do that. Fortunately, my boss, Michael Wright, he had a lot of confidence in me and said, "You can do it, you've done it, you've been doing it. You would just now do it on your own."
Well, not completely on her own. Lori needed someone to take over her old position and asked permission to hire her sister, Mimi.
She was scared, and she wasn't confident that she could do it, but I knew she could. But she said, "Hey, can you help me?" And at that given point in time, I was not working.
I know a lot of people say that they couldn't work with their sister, they couldn't work with their brother, but we clicked. What I was not good at, she was good at. She wasn't, I was. And we just meshed, and things just worked very, very well.
And I worked for her. And so the respect I would give to anybody who would be my boss, and maybe even a little more because she's my sister.
Since then, the food warehouse has grown by leaps and bounds. They have a team of workers now and plenty of volunteers. They've started many programs, including Harvest Helpings, which distributes fresh produce, their backpack program, which services 900 children on the weekends, and the new Military Share program for veterans that were too proud to take advantage of the help.
They are all in the same boat, so they feel that they can accept the help. And it's amazing. I had a veteran, a woman from Vietnam, a Vietnam veteran, come up to me at the distribution, throw her arms around my neck and cry and said, "We are not forgotten, thank you so much." I was shaken to my core.
We come back many times from some of these sites that we get to see, that we get the privilege to meet some of these people, and wow, you really sit back and you think, this is God's work. I know I'm doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing for so many. 4,200 households and over 7,000 people depend on this facility and this community every month.
This community is so supportive. I mean, I could ask anybody here, anybody, for help, and they'd come running.
Along the way, there have been a lot of trials, tribulations, thank yous, and tears. More businesses have shut down. Macy's was the latest to go, but the message and the story remains the same.
We're still here to help, and we're not going to stop working towards helping people.
You've got people's lives involved here. It's not just something that you can put off to the side. I can't. It's here in my heart, and I can't just turn that off.
People can't get ahead. So we're here. That's our story. We're here for you.
The courthouse is supposed to be a place that treats everyone with equality, but it wasn't always a place that was accessible to everyone.
This level came in straight here. There were two big steps out here. You could see how this wall is. This wall was the level of the prior ramp. It was flat. So there was 2 major steps going up inside the door. Once you got inside the door, there were 3 more steps. It was impossible for a wheelchair to get in. A person with crutches would have trouble. But anybody with the wheelchair would have to be carried, the wheelchair would have to be carried into the courthouse.
It was the late 1970s. Carl Nunziato, an experienced lawyer, needed to help a dear friend named Don Baker, but not as a legal counselor. He went to court that morning to help lift his friend's wheelchair up the steps since he was facing divorce after becoming a paraplegic.
I saw a couple of my friends that I knew come by and I said, can you help us carry this wheelchair up the steps? One guy just had back surgery, another guy had hip surgery. They said, we can't do it. Well, we're standing out there. The hearing was at 10 o'clock, it's about 9:45, and there was a couple ladies standing there. They said, we're going to help you. So the 2 ladies started to lift the wheelchair. We got up 3 steps. I said, stop. You're going to kill all of us. This is too heavy. We went back down. We sat at the bottom of the steps. Never got into the courtroom. He never got his day in court. He never got to appear before the judge because we couldn't get into the building.
What might seem like a few steps to most was a proverbial mountain, a mountain that needed to be moved. And so Carl and Don decided to move it themselves.
Once we discovered this problem, we started a campaign to have this ramp built, to have a wooden ramp initially built in the courthouse, and then when they did the major remodeling of the courthouse, they actually sunk the floor there.
It was an era before the American with Disabilities Act became law, and Nunziato and a group of motivated Youngstown residents were about to set out on a 15-year journey to make the city accessible for everyone. They called themselves the Barrier-Free Architecture Committee. One of their first projects was to make city streets easier to navigate with something called a curb cut. The year was 1982.
Nobody knew what we were talking about because there didn't exist any. I said, well, it looks like a driveway, but it's even a little less than that. So they said, we have to build a prototype. Down on Front Street, where the mill was, they said you could put one there. Don Baker and I paid for it. It was $280. We paid for the first curb cut, and that's where they put it as a prototype.
As he walks this ramp today, each step is laced with success. Success for a generation of people who have followed him and who might have a story just like his. Major Carl Nunziato was one of the first Army soldiers to go to Vietnam. These photos were taken just hours before he lost both of his feet and part of a leg while he was under enemy fire. He spent 2 years learning to walk again at Walter Reed Hospital.
When a person is severely wounded, the concept is they need compensation to overcome their wounds. And they try to climb mountains and go skating and go rollerblading, go skiing. My compensation was I got an education and I came back and I applied that not only for my benefit, but for the benefit of the veterans. And they talk about freedom. Think about it. If a person can't get into his courthouse, and can't get into his school, can't get into his church, there is no freedom. We made that part happen.